Sir Edward Leigh.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Deputy Speaker, I apologise. I'm surprised we are debating this again. It was only in 2018 when the Home Office concluded there was no need to introduce so-called buffer zones, and I'm referring here to new Clause 11. These buffer zones, I believe, are disproportionate in the restrictions they impose on freedom of expression and unnecessary in that there remains a lack of evidence they are needed. The government has recently affirmed this position, and rightly so, given existing laws enable the police and local authorities to deal with protests that are harmful. Before we rush to create new laws, Madam Deputy Speaker, it's only right that the government expects the police and local authorities to use their current powers appropriately and where necessary. The 2018 review showed that, quote, it would not be proportionate to introduce a blanket ban, end quote, as the evidence found that protests occurred at less than 10% of abortion clinics. This is a very small number. Of course, and we emphasise this point, any kind of harassment is absolutely wrong and should be dealt with the law and can be dealt with by existing laws. And we've heard much in this debate about how we should turn to existing laws rather than create new laws. But any remedy must be proportionate to the problem. Now, the review concluded, not my review, objective government review concluded that most of the activities during these protests were passive in nature. My honourable friend for Congleton, in a very powerful speech, has described just how passive they can be. You could be standing there and praying silently, not even holding up a banner of any nature or saying anything. And the review included, and it could include, for instance, praying or just handing out leaflets. Disruptive or aggressive behaviour was the exception the review found, not the norm. Crucially, the review also confirmed that the police have the necessary powers already to take action and protect the public when protests become harmful or disruptive. So a blanket ban of the kind proposed in this amendment would be disproportionate in the face of the facts, and law must be proportionate. To be clear, the people this amendment targets are peaceful protesters, often elderly, grandmothers, frankly, who are entirely peaceful. They politely pray and hand out leaflets. The contrast could not be greater between those protesters and those of the likes of Just Stop Oil, who glue themselves to roads and create human blockades that are disruptive and obstructionist. And if any of these protesters, so-called, at abortion clinics did anything like that, they could be immediately arrested, and they would be. And while the police have the power to take action so that ordinary people can go about their daily lives, they just won't just stop protests. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, in this House, are we really going to criminalise people who are peacefully trying to raise awareness about support available? And this is the point. No, I've been told not to speak for long. I want to get on with it. Are we going to we're talking about people who are just trying to raise awareness about support available. This is a crucial point. They want to raise awareness about support available to women facing difficult pregnancies with nowhere else to turn to. Now, we're going to criminalise these grandmothers, but so much of the Just Stop Oil people walk free. So this, I'm afraid, Mr. Speaker, is not primarily a debate about abortion. We all have our views on that. This is a debate and an amendment about public order. And a thorough review of this subject, including the public order aspect, found that buffer zones would be an excessive response to protests of vigils outside abortion clinics. There's no need to change the law with this amendment. Now, I would have supported this bill, but if new Clause 11 gets included in this bill, I can no longer support this bill, and many pro-life MPs will be in the position that I am. The government will be putting us in a very difficult position. And I'd be interested to know, I didn't get an answer to this, what the Labour Party will do if new Clause 11 is included. Presumably they would rather more favour aspects of this bill. And what would be the attitude of the Minister? Is he in favour of new Clause 11? If he wants to speak against it, is he now going to not support his own bill? So we'll see. I look forward to his comments. I hope we can get on with the aims of better supporting the police to protect the rights of people to go about their daily business in the face of the likes of Just Stop Oil and Extinction Rebellion, and to focus their resources on keeping the public safe. And lastly, I want to make clear that this is about raising awareness, and the very last comment must come to Alina Dulgerio, a vulnerable mother who fronts a campaign called Here For Me. She recently recalled, "The day I made my way to the abortion facility was the darkest day my heart has ever known. All I needed was help until I gave birth, a lady and a leaflet, that's all it took. Right there, the steps of the abortion centre, from all that darkness, at last I felt hope. I felt for the first time that my child was wanted not only by me, but also by complete strangers. For the first time, I felt that I was not walking alone on the day I was meant to end the life within me, my child. I cannot express the joy and how fulfilled I felt as a woman, as a mother, to be given the chance to have my child. A just and caring society doesn't criminalise people for offering help to vulnerable mothers."